All right, so I'd just like to highlight an example of how we used Gradle Enterprise and how it enabled us to sort certain issues. So as you can see, this is a spike in the build times, and we sort of experienced this a few weeks ago, where there was a spike in the build, and within an hour, we determined that there was a change to the GitHub Actions boot to runner that impacted the version of the Android NDK we were using, which caused a 3-minute regression in our build times. And the same thing happened a couple of months ago, and it took my colleague a whole week to determine what caused this. So today, because we have Gradle Enterprise installed and running in our project, because we know what to look for, and because we added some monitoring tools, we are enabled and empowered to track and fix for it quickly. And as I'd mentioned earlier in the example I gave you, instead of taking a whole week to figure out what challenges you're experiencing and fix it, it was narrowed down to an hour. And I'd just like to shout out my colleague, Nate Abel, for that specific example, because he's the one who spearheaded that and fixed it over time. So when that regression occurs, especially with the GitHub Actions runners, he now knows how to pick it out and fix for it in a couple of minutes, if not an hour, as compared to a whole week. So thanks, Nate. All right, great. So next, I'd like to focus on the tests tab. And this is basically a high-level look into the tests, where we find test failures by day and also over a specific period of time. And this tab in Gradle Enterprise aggregates all the test failures by specific classes. And as you can see below, these are the different charts. As you can see, the different test failures by day and also over time. And it can show you the failed tests and whether there are any flaky tests as well. So as you can see here, it classifies the different failure test classes, the different failures of tests per class, and also the count of the number of times it failed. So in our case, this observation row view model test is the one that's failed the most over time. And when we navigate into the specific class, we're able to find the specific tests that are failing. So in our case, the get currency string is the one that seems to be failing a lot as well, because these are the specific tests within it, and this one is the one that seems to be failing. So if I click into the specific test, it'll show you the number of times the specific test failed and for which build. So in our case, I know that this host name is the GitHub Actions build, so it seems to have been failing for this. So I can just click into one of these failure instances, and it'll open the build scan for the same. So when you're in the build scan, you just come to tests, and it'll highlight for you the failing test in our case. So if I open this up, you can see that it's already highlighted and say that there's a comparison failure, and it expected this, but it got this. So you can see that this test is failing because it didn't get the specific output that it required. And if I click on view test history, you'll be able to see the test history for this specific test. And as you can see over the this period of time, these are the builds that executed the specific test over this period of time. And then the mean execution for the test, again, you're able to see the times. And then, yep, over the last couple of days, it seemed to have been fixed, and now it seems to be passing, which is a good thing.